It's been confirmed to Lateline that Canberra is on the verge of reaching an agreement with Papua New Guinea to reopen the Manus Island detention centre. Australian and PNG government officials toured the island this afternoon, and Lateline understands locals were told the centre will soon be reopened. But the Immigration Minister isn't commenting directly on the talks, saying only that discussions on a regional solution are continuing. Political correspondent Tom Iggulden has more from Canberra.
Manus Island detention centre's been closed since 2004, but will soon reopen, sources in Papua New Guinea say. Officials from the Immigration Department and the Australian High Commission visited the island this afternoon. They were briefed and then given a 20-minute tour of the facility. Locals tell the ABC they were told by the island's Deputy Governor that the Manus facility will reopen subject to approval from PNG's National Executive Council. Foreign ministers of both countries are set to announce the decision in a day or two, the source says. The reopening of Manus Island appears to be at odds with a Prime Minister who's been a vocal critic of the Pacific solution, the Howard government's response to a wave of boat arrivals.
Processing was then undertaken on Manus Island and Nauru. That's not my approach. That's not what I'm seeking to achieve.
But asylum seeker advocates say reopening the centre would be a return to the bad old days.
Look, the real harm that was done here was casting genuine refugees into indefinite exile in a poor Pacific nation, held on an island in poor conditions and left in limbo without any guarantee that they'd be resettled in a timely way to safety and security in the future.
Immigration Department Secretary Andrew Metcalf and Parliamentary Secretary Richard Marles were in PNG earlier this week. The Immigration Department says they were following up a regional meeting in Bali earlier this year aimed at developing a coordinated response to asylum seekers across the region. But there's concern that a one-off deal with Papua New Guinea would undermine that.
This could well run completely contrary to that worthy ambition by striking a bilateral arrangement with just one other country, which appears to be Australia essentially contravening its own obligations to refugees by deflecting its obligations onto another poor Pacific nation.
The Prime Minister campaigned in the last election on an idea to open a processing centre not in Papua New Guinea but nearby East Timor.
In recent days, I have discussed with President Ramos Horta of East Timor the possibility of establishing a regional processing centre for the purpose of receiving and processing irregular entrants to the region.
But East Timor has since then openly resisted the idea.
We have been saying for some time that that matter remains under consideration between the government of East Timor and the government of Australia, and that's certainly the view expressed the last time I heard it from President Ramos Horta.
But the seemingly imminent reopening of Manus Island indicates the government is looking in a different direction for an immediate solution to the overcrowding in existing detention centres, something nervous Labor backbenchers have been calling for, with a spate of headline-grabbing riots and suicides from one end of the detention network to the other. Tom Iggulden, Lateline.